She began to beg the midwives to help her, but they did not know how they could. Suddenly, she came up with an idea. I am okay with one son. Please take the girl to the forest and abandon her for animals to eat. A long time ago, there was a war between the people of Arima and Vonya. The Arima warriors won the war, and their king instructed them to take as many captives as they could gather. Among those captives was a little boy called Tade. Tade was traumatized by the war because he watched the warriors slaughter his parents and sisters. The trauma affected him in such a manner that he could not speak a word, so all he did was cry day and night in the slave camp. The camp was a dreadful place, filled with the cries of despairing captives and the harsh commands of guards. One day, a popular chief visited the camp and picked interest in Tade. The chief was a good friend of the king, so he asked if he could take Tade home, and of course the king agreed. Tade was very lucky because, a few days later, the king commanded that the slaves be killed because he discovered their plot to kill his own people. He thought to himself, if I don't get rid of them now, they will definitely kill us all one day. But because of the relationship the king had with the chief, he let the little boy leave. So, Tade began living with the chief and his wife Lami. They were both very kind to him. Whatever they could have given their own child, they gave to Tade. However, their only worry was his inability to speak. Several months later, the chief brought a speckled goat to the house for the festival celebrations. The chief's compound was bustling with preparations for the festivities, with colorful decorations and the aroma of delicious food. Tade and his mother were sitting outside when he arrived, and immediately Tade set his eyes on the goat. He began to scream what felt like audible words. Ma, the chief and his wife were shocked. They thanked God profusely because their son had shown signs that he may speak again one day. And indeed, they were not wrong because Tad started speaking more words daily. However, he never spoke of his past, and his parents never forced him to because they knew it was a traumatic experience for him. Also, they noticed that several times a day he would go out to feed the goats. He would sing softly to them as he worked, finding peace in their company. So his mother suggested, why not buy our son a few goats? Maybe his late father was a goat farmer because he is so interested in taking care of the goats. The man did what his wife suggested and bought a few more goats. He also began to train the boy in the art of goat herding. As the boy grew up into a man, he became a wealthy goat farmer. In fact, he was also the most eligible bachelor in the village. Every lady wanted a piece of him, but unfortunately for them, he had his eyes set on Zina. However, Zina's younger sister, Loma, was unhappy about that. She could not understand why Tade would choose Zina over her. As often as she could, she would stand in front of the mirror and begin to praise herself. Beauty, sharp, very sharp. Who doesn't want the most beautiful girl in the village? Even kings and warriors are seeking to marry me. Indeed, she was not lying. Every man in the village wanted Loma, except Tade. Finally, a chance came for her to snatch Tade from her sister. One night, her mother asked her to go and look for her sister because she was unusually late. Loma checked the farm, but she was not there, so she decided to check Tade's house. The night was quiet, with only the sound of crickets filling the air. When she got there, she met a drunk Tade lounging under the tree. She called out to him, and in his drunken state, he responded, saying, "My love." She wanted to walk away, But then a thought crossed her mind, and she decided to betray her sister that night. Yes, my love, it is me, she responded. She responded. She then led Tate into his hut and let him take her virginity. Just as they were done making love, she heard Zena calling, Tate, Tate, where are you? Come out. Oh, I have to hurry home to my mother. Loma quickly responded. Without caring about her sister's emotions, she called out, We are here. Zena went into Tate's hut with her lantern, and when she got there, she saw Loma resting on Tate's body. She quickly ran out of the hut because she could not believe that two people she loved so much had betrayed her like that. Over the next few days, Tate begged Zena as often as he could. He told her that he would never intentionally hurt her, but it was too late because Loma was insisting Tate marry her because he had taken her pride as a woman. Both parents called a meeting and they concluded that it was the best step to take. So it was official. Loma and Tate would get married. Finally, Loma won. She married the love of her life. And because Tad was a kind man, he respected her and never maltreated her. Although he did not love her, she did not care. She would always tell her friends, When I give him strong babies, he will love me. But she was wrong. During the first year of her marriage, she did not get pregnant. In the second year, there was still no pregnancy. Up until the 10th year, she was depressed. She began to think that maybe God was punishing her for what she did to Zena. Tate, on the other hand, never pressured her. Rather, he tried to suggest that they take one of the orphans from the village and raise them as their own. But any time he brought up the suggestion, Loma would cry, accusing him of calling her barren. Well, at the end of the 10th year, Loma finally became pregnant. She could not contain her joy, and the same went for Tate. He threw the biggest party the village had seen in a while to celebrate her pregnancy. The village square was alive with music, dancing, and laughter. 9 months later, she delivered twins, a boy and a girl. But there was a problem. The girl's skin was abnormal, according to Loma. When she saw the baby, she screamed. Even the two midwives present at delivery could not explain what they were seeing. She began to cry. My enemies have let me down. Oh, they will laugh at me. What kind of skin is this? She began to beg the midwives to help her, but they did not know how they could. Suddenly, she came up with an idea. I am okay with one son. Please take the girl to the forest and abandon her for animals to eat. My husband must not see her. He will hate me more for embarrassing him in this manner. The midwives initially refused, but she offered them a life-changing amount of money, and they accepted. The deed was done, and Loma moved on with her life as a mother of a bouncing baby boy, the heir to Tate's fortune. But misfortune soon struck. A few weeks after delivery, when Loma was sleeping with her baby boy, she mistakenly rolled over and suffocated him to death. When she woke up in the morning, she was inconsolable. Hey, whoa, my enemies have finally caught up with me. The next few months were very depressing for her. She made up her mind to go and make amends with her sister, who had moved to the neighboring village to avoid seeing Tate. Together, she pleaded, please go and marry my husband. He still and has always loved you. I will never be able to make him happy. After Loma's betrayal, Zena remained unmarried. She could not bring herself to be with another man besides Tate. He was the love of her life. When she heard Loma's offer, she turned it down. But Loma went to Tade and asked him to come and convince her. He was very glad at the offer, not because he cared about kids, but because he finally had the opportunity to be with his Zina. Well, she accepted, and within a year of their marriage, she got pregnant. 9 months later, she gave birth, but just like her sister, she had a baby with the same type of skin. Although she was confused, she thanked God for the child and then asked the midwife to call her husband to see the baby. Tate came into the hut together, but immediately Tate set his eyes on the child. He knelt to the floor and began weeping. Mommy, that child had the same skin as his mother, who was killed in the war. Just like the speckled goat reminded him of his mother's skin, so did this new baby. And for the first time, he spoke about his late mother publicly and her skin condition. The baby's skin condition. The baby's skin condition is what we call albinism in this present day, and it is not a life-threatening. He danced and thanked God for bringing someone that would remind him of his late mother. Loma could not believe what was happening. She could not believe she lost the opportunity to bring her husband joy. For a second, it felt like years of depression, hurt, rejection, and pain flooded her memories. Immediately, she let out a loud scream. When everyone tried to attend to her, they realized that she had lost her mind. Loma was mad. Nobody knew how to cure her, not even the best herbalists in neighboring villages. And just like that, Loma remained mad until she passed away. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the story of choices and consequences. Remember, as Proverbs 14:12 warns us, the path that seems right may lead to destruction. Let this tale inspire careful thought about the decisions we make and their lasting impacts. Stay tuned for more stories that not only entertain but also enlighten.